Hi folks, Zach here with a little different video than what I usually do. Today I'm going to do some card evaluation from Strixhaven, and I noticed there was a wonderful trend with this new set release, and I figure I'd make a top 5 list and share it with all of you and give you my favorite top 5 pieces of single target removal spells from Strixhaven. Um, this set has a definite trend for some of the best removal I have ever seen in a particular set release. And why is that? Well, let's get into it and you'll understand why I enjoyed this set so much for single target removal and why I think it is great for new commander players. And I hope people getting into the format will understand how great some of these cards really are. First card we have is an honorable mention. This is Expel. Simple 3 mana instant speed, exile, tap, target creature. It's a little conditional, tapped. It's not going to hit something with vigilance, something that doesn't tap, whatever it may be. But for white, this is pretty good. We have a bunch of these types of effects in white, but at common, I am not going to complain about this. This is one of my. This is an honorable mention for people who are budget players. This is an honorable mention for people who are just getting into Commander. This is a great piece, efficient removal for somebody who can't afford, Swords to Plowshares or Condemn or something along those lines. Great card. I'm sure it'll be a nickel, a dime, and you'll be able to play it in any of your white decks. But why is this good? Exile, target tap creature. Let's go on to the next one. Necrotic Fumes. As an additional cost to cast this spell, exile a creature you control. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Exile. Again, if you are playing a token-based strategy, this is basically a free roll. You are going to be able to exile one of the most scary things on the field, be it a creature or a planeswalker. It hits 2 things for 3 mana. It's like a Hero's Downfall, but now you have another version of it. It's like Murderous Rider. It's that 3 mana exile something, but that is what makes this better than those. You get to exile target creature or planeswalker. Again, exile. When you exile something, it doesn't come back. It's not in the graveyard. It's gone. Let's go on to number 4. Reduce to memory. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 3/2 red-white spirit creature token. This is a generous gift at uncommon. Again, this is exile target non-land permanent, and you're giving them a 3/2. In Commander, that's nothing. Matter of fact, this is better in some ways than generous gift because you're giving them a 3/2 and not a 3/3. Only downside, it's at sorcery speed. Again, exile target non-land permanent. That is amazing. Number 3, Resculpt. Exile target artifact or creature card. Its controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Blue gets exile target artifact or creature now. This is a recurring theme not only in Strixhaven, where you get to exile something that's a problem, but now it's in 2 sets. We have got in Kaldheim Ravenform. It was the exact same effect. And this is at instant speed, while in Kaldheim it was at sorcery speed for 1 more mana. This is a better version than that effect. Granted, you're giving them a 4/4 elemental, but now it's at instant speed. And again, giving someone a 4/4 is nothing in Commander, as long as they're not beating you up with it. And if you're in blue, you're likely going to be able to bounce that token easily. Number 2. You may pay 1 of the black rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If you pay 1 of the black, an opponent draws a card. Now, I haven't seen the rules text on this if you get to choose who draws that card, but if you get to choose, this becomes even better. So instead of paying 4, you get to pay 2 and then exile target creature or planeswalker. For 2 mana, you get to exile, again, exile target creature or planeswalker. This is amazing for 2 mana. For 2 mana, I would put this in almost any one of my mono black decks or my black something decks. This is a fantastic piece of targeted removal. And if you don't want someone to draw that card, just pay it for 4. It's versatile. You can pay that 4. That is not a terrible effect. That is a Vraska's Contempt cost. That is the Eaten to Extinction effect. Again, instant speed, exile, target creature or planeswalker. Again, two options on this. And finally, my number 1 pick, probably the most controversial, but at the same time, I think this is one of the best cards they have printed for any color in the last 4 years since I've been playing Magic. And that card is Introduction to Annihilation. This is a 5 mana colorless exile non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. So it's like our last one, but it's colorless. This goes into mono red decks. This goes into mono black decks. This goes into mono blue decks. This goes into mono white decks. This goes into mono green decks. This is something that can go into any wedge of the color pie, and you will be able to exile target non-land permanent for 5 mana. They get to draw a card. Okay. I don't mind them drawing a card if I get to get rid of the scariest thing on the field for 5 mana. We've had a ton of effects like this in black and white, and they've only ever been printed in black and white. This time they made it colorless, and now you can put this into any deck. Tons of decks in Commander run Meteor Gold, which is a 7 mana version of this effect. This is a more efficient version. And you get to get, and it's a common, something you do not see very often for something this versatile. This may be one of my favorite pieces of removal I've seen in a long time. I'm going to put this in a couple of my mono red decks. I'm going to put this in a couple of my mono black decks. I love this card. Wizards of the Coast, you're doing fantastic with the removal on Strixhaven. So many exile effects, so many good pieces of targeted removal for those new players getting into Commander, getting into Standard, getting into Pioneer, trying to understand what is going on. I wouldn't put these in all my Standard decks. I wouldn't put these in all my Pioneer decks. In Commander, some of these cards are just absolutely amazing for what they do. And that's my video, folks. I hope you enjoyed my top 5 plus honorable mention pieces of exile targeted base removal. All these effects were exile effects. Fantastic. I love this. All right. Thanks, everyone, and I will see you next time.